Every morning I analyze sales copy, Harvard grads, Oxford MBAs, documentary filmmakers, and they all ask me the same question, like, what's the secret? And yesterday I actually found it, not in some like mastermind, not in a course, in a random YouTube video about a company that went from $500, like their revenue, to $500 million. And their secret, like, they're boring as hell. That's precisely why they're rich. And so look, I've generated millions from stories. Like, I've personally made millions from stories, not tactics, not hacks, just stories. But here's what I discovered watching these guys, right? You know, I've been overcomplicating the hell out of it. And they use 3 content types, just 3. That's it. I'm over here building 12 paradigms and things that I used to do with 4 layers of deployment strategies and cross-pollinating and all these different methodologies. What the hell does that even mean, right? And so these guys, like, same 3 things every day, every week, every single year. And so the difference, they've made $500 million. Now, most of us are still theorizing about our first million. At least for me, like, I've made millions, but like nothing close to 500 million. So picture a calendar, like 30 empty boxes, like staring at you, 30, squares staring back at you. And most people see content opportunities, but these guys, they see a money printing machine with only 3 single buttons. And so button 1 is to ask for money. Button 2 is to teach something useful. And then button 3 is to, tell a story. And so that's their entire playbook. There's no value ladder sequences, no viral strategies, no growth hacks, just those 3 buttons in the right order at the right time. And here's where it gets really weird. They sell twice a month, period. Not twice a month unless they need more revenue, not twice a month that let's add a flash sale, just twice. That's it. And I've actually analyzed, especially when I had my agency, like, I've analyzed hundreds, if not thousands, of sales copy, like where prospects need 7, 8, 12 touches before they actually buy. And so these guys, just 2 sales messages a month across all their channels. And I get it, like, but wait, and this is genius, right? Like, they don't just throw out discounts. What they really do is they manufacture reasons. Our warehouse guy Steve counted the inventory wrong. It's the founder's dog's birthday, and so we're moving offices next month, and all that might sound stupid, like, maybe, but it gives the logical part of your brain permission to let that emotion part spend the money. And so without the reason, like, if you don't have that, you're just begging people, right? And with the reason, you're sharing an opportunity, like you're sharing a story. And so the psychology of that element there, like the execution, is what truly matters. And here's what really like clicked for me is between those like 2 sales moments, they're not trying to entertain. They are building community. They're not adding value, right? They're architecting the sale. And so every educational piece answers one question, which is like, why does somebody need to believe, or better yet, like, what is that somebody needs to believe before my offer becomes so obvious to them, right? Not features, not benefits, like their actual beliefs in their mind. And so if you sell $5,000 to $20,000 programs, what beliefs does somebody need to have in place? Like, what is their problem that costs them more than that 20 grand? And so that DIY solution that they're wasting years on, right? That systematic thinking beats the tactical execution. And so each piece of education, it installs one belief, like software that updates for the brain. And so by the time that they actually make that offer, the sale is already made. The education did all that heavy lifting. And so they just buy. They don't need like some large sales team or all these stupid fancy widgets and a CRM with all these automated, like all that shit's unnecessary. And look, like, this isn't content marketing. It's belief architecture. And then like, oh, whoa, like, this really blew my mind. Like, their highest performing asset when I saw it, like a single founder story, not a funnel, not like some long 2-hour VSL, not even a webinar, just a single, like a story. And this one story drives the majority of their $100,000 ad spend every single day. One story. $100 grand a day in ad spend. But here's what they understood that we don't. Stories aren't content, they are proof of belief. And so every story follows the same skeleton. Here's what we wanted, here's what got in the way of that thing, and then here's what we had to sacrifice to actually win. And it's simple, it's repeatable, it's scalable. And so you don't like need writing skills. Like, yes, those are great to have. You need extraction skills. And this is really the part that nobody sees. Like year one, they were stuck at all three types. Like year two, they're decent, right? Like, and then year three, they're really good. And then by year four, they are unstoppable in what they're doing. And then the same three things, like improving one by one, percent by percent, each iteration. And while everybody else is like chasing the new things, like this new VSL funnel or like this new software, like they're just perfecting the basics, the foundations. And so what that is it's systematic thinking at its finest. Not because it's complex, because it's very simple. And that simplicity compounds. And so look, here's what is keeping you broke. And it's what kept me broke for many, many years. You think that you need more, like more information, more strategies and tactics and all that shit. Like, you don't. You need to extract value from what you already know and deliver it through three simple vehicles, repeatably, boring, and profitability, right? Like every mistake that you've made, that's educational content. And every win that you've had, that is a story. Every solution that you've created, that's a sales opportunity. And that is a reason. That is the extraction. And honestly, like, extraction isn't the hard part. The discipline to keep it simple, that is the hard part. And so I'm going to give you something, and this will either change your business or expose why it's not going to work for you. Open up your calendar, pick 2 dates, and those are your only sales dates next month and the next month. So twice a month. Now count backwards, and you have, 28 days to install those beliefs, give or take a day, depending on how many days there are in the month, right? Like if it's 30 days, then you have 30 days. If it's 28, you're going to have, that many days. And so to install those beliefs is what I'm saying, and take those stories that make those sales inevitable. No other content, no inspiration, no motivation, no engagement bait, no 2 steps, none of that shit. No viral attempts, just educate and stories. That is what's going to lead to 2 sales. And if you can't do this for 1 month, you're never going to do it for 9 years. And 9 years is what it takes to get to 500 million. That's what that company did. And so I've analyzed hundreds of successful businesses, thousands to be honest. I've evaluated their copy, and I've built multiple 8 figures of operations with what I've done. The winners aren't smarter. They are not more creative. They don't have better strategies or teams. Like, they just do simple things for unreasonable amounts of time. Like, that is truly how they win. And these guys proved it. Like 3 content types, 9 years, $500 million business per year. And so your complexity is costing you millions of dollars. And so tomorrow you'll actually wake up with 2 choices. Create 3 types of content consistently for the next, years, 9 years in their case, or spend the next 9 years looking for a better way, a shinier object. And so really, like, when you think about it, one path leads to $500 million, the other leads to another YouTube video, another course you want to buy, and all this shit about somebody else's success that they're trying to get you to implement shiny object syndrome. Like, the math is very simple. There's 3 content types. And when you times that over 9 years, that equals generational wealth. The question isn't whether it works. The question is whether you're disciplined enough to be boring. Because boring, it turns out, is exactly worth $500 million. And so look, next week, you're either going to, see your first educational piece of content or the next excuse. And so live by that rule. You can only either have reasons or results. You can't have both. And so the calendar doesn't care which you choose, but your bank account will. And so systematic thinking, it beats tactical genius every single time. Now stop watching and start shipping your content out.